Ladies and gentlemen, you're now tuned in to the brasstax experience. So I gave you guys a list last week of must-have 4K Blu-rays. Now that's part one of maybe about 3, so I'm going to do some more of them. Every 2-3 reviews, I'm going to put another one out. But I thought, why don't I give you guys the most disappointing list? So I've compiled a list of 10. There's going to be other lists of this as well, because, you know, as great as 4K is, there have been some duds as well. What can you do? Oh, by the way, shit, it's your boy brasstax, baby. You already know. To anyone new watching, this is going to get crazy because, you know, I'm pretty passionate about discs I don't like, so it might not be safe for work. And secondly, brace yourselves. Before I start, I want to say these movies themselves may be pretty good. I mean, I actually like a lot of these movies. I love a lot of these movies, but this is specifically for the picture quality, the transfer itself, which were really disappointing to me. Not all of them will be shit. Well, actually, most of them are shit, just looking at this list. But you want to avoid these guys. Or, if you really love the movies, get them when they're very, very heavily discounted.
Shall we begin?
Gremlins. A childhood classic. I love this movie. Got the 4K Blu-ray, stuck it in the player, pressed play and thought, what the hell is this shit? Yeah? Grain City, looked like an upscale, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Man, you know this dude's meeting his death, man. That's the way I felt, man, when I watched this shit.
Native 4K DI as well. It's a full screen as well. It had all of the features, all of the boxes ticked of what I wanted to see in my 4K Blu-ray. Guess what? Didn't do the job. Was not happy with this. It looks like an upscale, nothing special, it's soft. Even the sound on this is a regular 5.1. And HDR, where? Pretty much non-existent. Okay, maybe the Gremlins look slightly more greener in this bitch, but it really isn't doing the job for me. This was a dud, big time disappointment for me, and that's really all I gotta say about that. Avoid this one or pick it up when it's cheap as hell, because this was trash. Oh my gosh. This is one of my favorite movies, man. One of my favorite superhero movies, and I watched this and I'm like, what's going on? I thought there was something wrong with my TV. Firstly, it was a very soft image. Okay, secondly, the colors were off in this transfer. I don't know what they did with the HDR. I think they just took the scan and said, you know what, we're just gonna turn the contrast up a little bit. Yeah, they won't even know. Guess what? I knew because the reds looked shitty. And overall, I think maybe the 1080p looked better. 100 gig disc, native 4K DI again, Dolby Vision HDR, they both look shitty to me.
Man, I couldn't wait to watch Superman. One of my favorite superhero movies, yeah? And as soon as I saw this transfer, I wanted the world to do this to me. This right here, I wanted everyone to stand back and I wanted the world to swallow me whole.
It just looked a bit messy and it looked a bit dirty. And not in a good way, in a kind of like this transfer, there's no sheen to it, there's no shine to it. That's fair enough, there's grain in it, I understand that, it's an older movie, but it was just very, very disappointing. I was expecting a better restoration process than what I got here, and it's only, if better, perhaps marginally, but HDR, it was just a big time disappointment. Now, I know a lot of you people did like this transfer, but for me, remember, this is my personal opinion, this was disappointing as shit. I had to take a shit after watching this transfer. God damn. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, the whole trilogy could have pretty much gone on here. Expendables, I mean, they all looked slightly better than the previous, but Expendables 3 is an abomination. This looked exactly the same as the 1080p Blu-ray to me. Maybe even softer in parts as well. HDR was trash. Dolby Atmos, where were the overheads? I didn't hear any overheads. I was looking up at the great Lord above and he wasn't even listening. He's like, listen, you got a shitty Atmos setup or you got a shitty Atmos disc. Guess what? It was a shitty Atmos disc. Native 4K DI once again, trash. A trash transfer which brings nothing to 4K. Oh my god. Oh shit. Jurassic Park 3 is one of the worst 4K Blu-rays I've seen. I don't know what they've done with this disc, but it looks like they said, you know what? Let's turn the sharpness up of the 1080p, make it look 4K-ish, give you the illusion that there's more detail in this. HDR where, you know what we'll do? We'll turn the contrast up and we'll turn the sharpness up, and hopefully these idiots investing in 4K won't notice the difference. Guess what? We noticed the difference. This is trash. This looks like an upscale, but a bad upscale at that. It looks like an upscale from a shitty Blu-ray player on a shitty TV, and it's so bad, it shouldn't have even made the trilogy. The movie itself was okay, nothing special, my least favorite out of the initial 3 movies, but god damn, this transfer, dare I even say it, sucked balls, and not in the good way. You know what, people, if you don't have this, and you got a 4K player, you get your 1080p, you turn the sharpness up to 50 in this bitch, turn the contrast up to high. That's the 4K Blu-ray of this. Okay, now I want you to see the artwork that I've got here. You see this beautiful girl's face. She got a natural beauty, but that's beside the point. That face is the face I made when I saw this. The movie itself is whatever, right? But god damn, it's not even a proper aspect ratio. God damn, I got the black bars on the sides. But I'll be damned if this doesn't look like an iPhone movie on a 1080p and on 4K. Looked exactly the same. HDR was there, I couldn't see it. And if it was there, it was minimal at best. This was another waste of time. You know what? They should have made this movie a specific Apple-only movie on iPhone, on the Apple TV Plus for free. If Apple TV Plus was around at that time, that's what they should have done. Because this is one of those movies that does not need the 4K treatment and shouldn't really be on 4K. And it's a 66 gig disc. Where's all that extra information on screen? That's all I want to know. I actually really like Mission Impossible 2. Like the movie, and Thandi's my girl. You know, something very cute and tasty about her, even now. She nasty, baby. But besides that, right, I got a little bit of hate on this because I said it looked like there was DNR in this, right? Guess what? People are saying there wasn't DNR in this. That's how bad this transfer looked, that I thought there was DNR in this. It was that soft and it was that posterized in some of the scenes. There's not even DNR and it looks DNR'd. What kind of 4K Blu-ray does that? I want to know.
Now look at this. Look at his face. He's obviously just seen the transfer of Mission Impossible 2. He's obviously just seen it thinking, what the hell's going on? Look at Anthony Hopkins. He looks like he's ready to kill himself right now. Look, he's looking at the transfer. This guy is the one who okayed the transfer, okay? They're probably trying to kill him right now.
Dolby True HD wasn't out on the 1080p. Shit, I'm rhyming all over the place. Bars. Didn't do anything for me. Didn't add any extra detail. I would have liked to see a bit of extra detail on Mr. Andy Newton, but guess what? None of that here. Not only do I have this on 4K Blu-ray, but I also have it on iTunes Digital, and guess what? Looks just as bad on that shit. This disc is a waste of time, and unfortunately, you know there's some discs which you're gonna showcase, which I've already done a list on, okay? And there's some discs you just hide from your collection. Your girl coming over, it's movie night, you and your girl, she asking you, baby, you got Mission Impossible 2? You say, what's Mission Impossible 2? Babe, is there Mission Impossible 2? I didn't even know. On 4K? I didn't even know. Oh, the hate that this caused when I reviewed this back then. The Last Jedi. Trash Star Wars movie. They pissed on everything that they've accomplished so far in the series, in the saga. God damn, they've just ruined it with that. They ruined it so bad. They ruined this movie so bad that Rise of the Skywalker was trying so hard to pretend that this movie didn't exist. Okay, that's how bad it was. And to make it worse, I thought to myself, you know what, this movie was trash, but let's watch the 4K. Maybe it will look good. I watched it in the theater, and you know, when you watch a movie there, you're thinking to yourself, okay, when this comes out on 4K, I can pretty much guess where it's gonna look great on HDR. Guess what? Looked exactly the same as a 1080p. HDR, no. Added detail, I don't even know. Maybe Kylo Ren looked a little bit more miserable. I didn't notice much at all.
Kylo Ren doing exactly what I expect him to do. Yeah, he saw the movie and then he saw the transfer and he's heading right now to his mum because she okayed the transfer, okay? Look at the way he's looking at her right now. He's thinking, shit, you okay the transfer? And look how upset he is.
It was a pubic hair better than the 1080p at best. Big disappointment for a Star Wars movie. At least have the lightsabers glow a little more, for God's sakes. We love lightsabers. What the hell is going on here? And then everyone hated when Shane and I did the review. Everyone hated. And guess what? Where was everyone when they got the discs and saw for themselves? It went dead quiet then, didn't it? God damn, this was trash. The forum's defense of this usually is, oh, you know what? It's the director's intent. Fair enough. It's the director's intent to make it look like a 1080p. Why bring it out on 4K? Leave it on 1080p for God's sakes. Because all you did was ported that over. You know what I want to do? I want to take 2 lightsabers and go to the person who okayed this transfer, stick them up his ass, both of them at the same time, and stretch those lightsabers out. Okay? That's exactly what I want to do. Might be too graphic. Shit, YouTube's gonna demonetize this shit. Oh shit. And here we go. Terminator 2, the DNR disc. Okay, Madame Tussauds in 4K. Madame Tussauds moving statues. This was DNR'd to death. I've kind of softened my view on DNR a little bit because there are some movies, especially some of the older Marvel movies which they've released on 4K have a touch of DNR in them, and sometimes I guess it can make for a cleaner image. But in this case, this looked terrible. Nobody looked real in this movie. Nobody. An absolute mess. DTS HD 5.1, no Terminator 2000 edition, which was like, what, 20 minutes longer? 30 minutes longer? Maybe it was, I don't even remember. This movie was such a letdown. They need to re-release this with every single cut and put a Dolby Atmos track on it and get rid of the DNR. I know they made changes to the stunt guy on the motorcycle and everything in one of the scenes, right? Fair enough, but goddamn, I'll be damned if you didn't Madame Tussauds this whole damn disc. This may go down as one of the worst 4K Blu-rays ever, and I'm gonna be honest with you, the 1080p looks better than this shit. If you go to a sale and you see this discounted for $4.99 in the bargain bin, you look at it, guess what? You put it back in the bargain bin, okay? You just carry on walking by yourself someone else.
You see this? This is exactly what I want to do to the T2 disc. It's that bad. Just put the disc in front of me, yeah? Open up the case like this, and bam!
Okay, love the movie. Got nothing bad to say about the movie itself. This transfer, I don't even think it looked different than the 1080p. Back to back, they both look pretty much identical. Okay, I was expecting a bit more luminance, a bit more increase in color, a bit more HDR-age, but guess what? None of that here. Looks pretty much like a standard Blu-ray with a couple of touches. If you had 4K and Blu-ray side by side, you may notice a difference, but as soon as you stick this in the player, you're gonna think, where's the 4K? Okay, this was a big disappointment for me, and it's a shame because I really liked the movie. What can you do? 100 gig disc, 48.1 megabytes a second. It's really not doing much in terms of the detail anyway. With a 3-hour movie, I'm beginning to think even 100 gig disc ain't enough. Pretty bad, and it's a damn shame. They need to bring out a better version, and for God's sakes, put some Atmos on it. Oh my gosh. This movie... Okay, let me make something clear. I've got the collection here. Really, the first 3 movies. Absolute garbage. Not even garbage, but garbage. Okay? It's one of them. Trash. Absolute trash. The best things about 4K is the detail. Guess what? The worst things about 4K is the detail when it comes to visual effects. Every single visual effect in these first 3 movies stand out like a sore thumb, which does not help. Coupled with that, it looks like the 1080p. It may even look oversaturated in parts. There are scenes where Jason Bourne looks like a motherfucking lobster in this bitch. And his girl in it, can't remember her name, she amazing, I like her, she's pretty girl. But she looked fuzzy as hell too.
Hey, you see the way Bourne fucking this guy up? That's exactly what I want to do to the guy that okayed these first 3 Bourne transfers. That's exactly what I want to do. You know he's going to get messed up. You know it.
This looked like a standard 1080p, but goddamn, this was disappointing because the movies are so damn good. As they got on to Bourne Legacy and Jason Bourne, they looked better. These ones are trash. Okay? Now, if you find it cheap, pick it up if you love the movie, but don't be expecting an improvement. It may actually, in my opinion, look worse than the 1080p. It's so upsetting. I remember when I watched that, I was there with my girl at that time. She came over, right? And I didn't even want to have sex that night. That's how disappointed I was. Can you imagine not wanting to have sex that night because the transfer's so bad? Not only part 1, part 2, part 3. Shit terrible. There we go, people. I think that's a good 10 to end on. 10 discs which are trash, and there's plenty more. Now, I know in the comment section you're going to mention some more, which I'll get to later, but I like doing these little lists of 10 good, 10 bad discs. And look, you want to avoid these discs like the plague. They're really, really bad. You're not going to gain anything by watching them. You're just going to waste your money watching a 1080p, which looks slightly better. Tell me what's the most disappointing movie you've seen in 4K, because there are some there. Let's not pretend that we don't have any. Goddamn, I just named 10 and that was off top. Alright guys, leave your comments, subscribe if you haven't already. There's plenty more of these to come. And remember, it's the shill-free zone. 4K Rockstar, you already know.